Hey, gun people, I'm gonna try and show you how what it was called whipping on a knife here. I got this, where's the sheath at? I saw another review on this Glock knife. I don't buy a whole bunch of knives. I've got a few from the military there that I still have, but that got me a little off-center, didn't it? Alright, here we go. So this is the it's a Glock knife, clips in. I think they cost about 35 bucks new. Locks in a sheath. I'll put a little piece of string here. I did about the same whipping I'm going to show you on this. I'm going to show you on the handle, and I kind of did this here just with a straight piece of string. So if I needed to tie this down or tie it to something, I've got a little piece of parachute cord here. But this is if you want to wrap your handle with a piece of parachute cord. And if you notice right up here, this is how we're going to finish it. Right here, that little loop is the loop of this end. So when you pull this, it tightens that. So I'm going to take this apart real quick so you can kind of see it. And before you either cut your rope, you kind of wrap it up loosely, and then if it fits loosely, when you do it tight and right, it'll do it. And I'm going to do it loosely here just to show you. So basically I have a piece of parachute cord. It's probably, I don't know, about 10 feet long. So if I ever get out somewhere and I have this knife and I need some parachute cord, tie up a lean-to, tie something to a tree, tie myself to a tree, whatever I need to do, I got a piece of cord that I can use that's pretty handy out in the field. So if you like the handle on the Glock as it is, it's a Glock knife. Like I said, I think a 35 new. I picked this up at a pawn shop. He had them for 27 bucks or something. I asked him 25 bucks out the door. He goes, sure. So he's got two others, but they're tan. I kind of like the black one. And this one usually costs more because it got the serrated edge for a saw or whatever, but I think this is called Survival, and the other one's just a regular tactical. It doesn't have the saw blade. And that may be wrong, but this is about wrapping a handle. And you can do this with any knife or any handle. I've wrapped a couple straight batons this way. When I was a cop, I used to have a straight baton. I put a handle on a straight baton because this parachute cord gives you a pretty good grip. So basically I'm going to do just a whipping knot. And basically you just get a little loop here, and you put this here, and you lay it here. And this hole right here is what the other end of the rope is going to go through. So I have the other end of the rope. So after I wrap this around here, this other end's going to go through this little hole right here on the last loop. And then sometimes it'll take a pair of pliers because it's so tight. And then I'm going to take this string and I'm going to pull this, and it'll tighten up this last end here. And I'm going to do it real loosely and quick. And you know, if you take your time and do it right, you can undo it and do it again if you need a parachute cord. Also, another tip is when you lay this, if you lay it here and you wrap it, when you grip the knife, you're going to have a little bit thicker right there. So I kind of want to either grip it on the bottom or on the top and have those two strains. Because as I'm wrapping, those two pieces of cord stay together right here. And again, you want to have this long enough to where you'll be able to get through it at the end here. And you want to have a long enough piece down here that you can pull when you're finished. So I would keep these two right here. I would wrap, wrap, wrap. Again, I would do this a lot slower. I'd be more meticulous. I'd be tightening it, making it really tight. I'd be pulling really hard every other round, just really cinching down to make sure it's a tight, tight wrap. And then I'm keeping that little thing there, and I'm still keeping it on the side that I want it. So I'm wrapping. Again, making it tight. I'd rather wrap with the hand not holding the blade. So as I get it all tight on my last loop, you notice I have this little piece right here, which the other end is here, so if I pull this, that's going to disappear. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to run it through that little loop right there. So now it's through the loop, and now as I pull on this end, you're going to notice this top part tightening up. And then I would cinch that down and pull really hard, and then that thing locks underneath the pressure. And it's kind of a pressure knot that works across up. You can tell I wrap this loose, it's kind of coming undone. It's not real straight. If I do this to where I want to do it, and I take my time, for those that got the gist and they want to end it there, I guess you can end it there. But if I were to do this tight, like I should, and take my time, and again, if I need to take it off, this is how I would take it off. So, I'm going to put this right here. I want it at the bottom if I can, at the bottom of the knife, so when I'm holding the knife, the blade is down, so I want it where my finger's going to grip. So I want to make sure these double cords are down underneath where my finger's going to grip. I can even loop it over this little knot right here if I wanted to hold it. And then this first wrap right here is probably the toughest, because when I wrap this here, I don't want to pull tight until I get one loop. I want to get it lined up nice. Get it semi-tight. Then maybe get another loop. That way it's not going to twist when I tighten it up. And maybe one more loop. And now, when I cinch this down, it's not going to spin quite as much. And now I'm going to do another loop, keeping these really tight. And it's already spun kind of a lot. You can tell I want it to be along here, and it's already spinned over here. So I need to fix that now, because I'm not going to be able to fix it later. So I'm going to spin that back to where it's on the line that I wanted, because I've only got a few wraps. And now I'm going to tighten each loop very tight. Make sure it's very close. And when I say tight, I'm stretching that rope. I'm cinching down each loop, making this very tight, and it becomes hard and coarse. Making sure it's all tight this way so I don't have any gaps. Tightening as I go. And again, the tighter you go around here, the harder it's going to be for this little loop down here that you're going to have to pull. But when I pull this, sometimes I have to get a pair of pliers and grab this and pull it, because I just don't have enough torque or strength to do it. So I torqued and one of these came a little loose, so I had to retighten that. Again, I'm keeping this loop right here. As I'm getting closer, I'm going to go ahead and pop that off, because if I don't, I'll get it tight right here and I won't be able to get it off. And again, that's tight, and it's pulling down as I can. And it may look like I'm just wrapping, but I'm really pulling with a lot of force to try and keep this pressure on here. And I'm pretty close, so I'm going to do one more loop. Hopefully I can make it around. So now I'm at my end here. I got to go through my little loop there. And this is a basic whipping. You can do this on the end of any knot. I close all my ropes. Now here's a tip to where you want to get it tight and it may not ever come off, is when you do this last loop, I really want to crank this down a little bit, so when that notch, when this goes away, Shit. So now as I cinch that up, that locked that in there. If I would have planned it better, or I wanted to, I could have made this longer and connected these two kind of like this to make me a little handle for my hand to go through if I wanted to. So you can get creative with this and make this a handle here. You can leave it long enough to where you can loop it around your wrist. If this was a little bit longer, I could put a square knot right here, and then I'd have a little loop my hand would go through, and this would hold it over my hand when I'm gripping it. So that's basically how to wrap a knife handle, or a handle of a baton, a stick, whatever you want to use. Alright, hope that helps. Well done that there. See how the zoom works here. Alrighty.